On this day 3 years ago, I quit my job to do YouTube full time. At the time, I only had 889 subscribers. And today, I made the decision to quit my job to do YouTube and content creation full time. And I still can't believe that I did it, because I think if I was in that situation now, I just wouldn't have the guts to do it. In this video, I'm going to tell you about all the major updates in the past year. So what's happened in the last 12 months. I'll talk to you about my channel growth, the lessons that I've learned and challenges that I've faced, the amount of money that I've earned and how I've made it, and also talk about my future plans. And like with all of my update videos, I've got my notes to help keep me on track. And I've also added all of the previous update videos in the description box. I watched them all this morning, and it feels a bit weird because I'm watching those videos and some of them don't feel like me. It's a bit odd. Some of them are so confident, and maybe I've lost a bit of that confidence, I don't know. Let's delve into that throughout the video. This past year has been filled with the biggest amount of lessons. It's had the biggest changes, and I feel as though I've made the biggest personal growth as well. I hit 100,000 subscribers. I made one of the toughest videos I ever made, and in the process of making another tough one. I moved into an office, it didn't work. I moved into another office, it didn't work. I then proceeded to have a meltdown, which then led me to find a solution, something that I'm really excited to tell you about. And I'm extremely happy to have found a new way to make money that's separate from ad revenue and sponsorship. But before we delve into all of that in detail, then I'd like to talk about my channel growth. On this day last year, I had 79,992 subscribers. And then today I have almost 143,000 subscribers. And that's way more progress than I thought I'd make, which is one of the reasons that I enjoy making these videos, because it gives me an opportunity to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Otherwise, I'm just chugging along each day and not really realising what I've achieved. The videos that have helped me continue with my channel growth, my Atlantic video and 7-day fast video, they still continue to do well, which is incredible. And over the last 12 months, I haven't really made any or many viral style videos. And it's kind of been an intention, but also maybe I'm using that as an excuse. I made my Andrew Huberman video, and that did really well, actually. I'm really pleased. For 3 reasons, I'm pleased. First of all, I'd wanted to do it for ages, and I did learn a lot from doing it. I was curious, and so to have fulfilled that curiosity feels good. It also feels good that I made $10,000. It also feels good that I gained 10,000 subscribers. My splits video that I think I made 2.5 years ago, out of nowhere, it's so random, that's just taken off. And I haven't changed the title, I haven't changed the thumbnail, it's on its way to 1 million. And it kind of just fascinates me how certain things work sometimes. They'll just sit chugging along for weeks, months, years, and suddenly just blow up. Many people seem to have enjoyed my high protein and weight training video, which I never intended to make. They were never on my ideas list, but it was just a series of events that led me to make those videos, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. First, what I want to do is delve into what's happened in the last 12 months into detail. And on the 4th of September last year, this happened. Carmen LT. This represents 2.5 years of hard work. And it also represents you guys who are committed to living a healthy and cheerful life, watching my videos, interested in the same thing as me, and hitting the subscribe button. So it's almost like a little reward for all of us. So thank you so much for allowing me to have this moment. Honestly, I didn't think that I would feel so excited, and I can't stop looking at it. You know what? That is so mega. It's easy for me to forget that feeling. The award sits just on my shelf, just there. It just becomes normal that I've got over 100,000 subscribers. And I don't mean that in a big-headed way or like an ungrateful way. It just becomes, yeah, that's what I've got. So to reflect back on that, it feels really, really good. One major achievement for me in the last 12 months, I can't believe I did it, was completing my desert island video. I've got quite a story about this. I'd wanted to make a video like that for ages. I'd seen other people do it and I wanted to do it myself. I came back from that trip with 500 megabytes of footage, 1,980 video clips from 7 different cameras. With all of that footage, I had no idea how to put it together. So I successfully procrastinated making that for 17 months. Then I went to the Netherlands, I took magic mushrooms, had a eureka moment, came back, and within 2 weeks of that eureka experience, started working on that project. The desert island video, I think I spent about £5,000 on that video, and I thought that I would get a return on my investment. The video took about 100 hours to edit. I'm confident to say that it nearly broke me. It felt as though it did at the time. And in total, with the amount of planning and the actual challenge itself, and I took a cameraman, there was probably 600 man hours to make that video. So 600 man hours and a £5,000 investment. And that video has made me £322. Oh, it's just like, are you being serious? Oh my goodness. I'm actually jumping ahead to one of the lessons. I should wait until the lesson section. That was a lesson in itself, that just be careful what I want to make videos about, and be careful with how much money I spend. But also it's fine. I'm pleased I did it. It was an amazing experience. Another big project that I've got on the go, and it's probably just as hard, it's complex but in a different way, is my psilocybin video. That's me going to the Netherlands, taking magic mushrooms and making a video about it. That video, again, has nearly broke me. In fact, when I say nearly broke me, what I mean by that is it was only a couple of weeks ago that I had what I call a meltdown. And by meltdown, I mean that I feel as though my world is falling apart around me. My motivation's low, my mood is low, energy, it's all zero. It's the kind of day where I just spend all day in bed and then my mum has to come up and kind of make me some food. That sounds pathetic, but that's the reality. Oh, I'm a bit embarrassed that I just said that. Anyway, that psilocybin video is going to be ready in about 2 to 3 weeks. I can see the end of the project. My goodness, it feels good to nearly be at the end. One of the biggest things that's happened in the last 12 months, just going to take a moment just to appreciate what's happened. As many of you know, I lived with my mum for 3.5 years while I got this YouTube channel set up. I actually went to visit her for a month during the 3rd lockdown, and then I never moved out. Then I started making YouTube videos in the kitchen, and we came to an agreement that I could live with her whilst I got the channel set up. I worked from the spare bedroom. As the years went on, I knew that I needed to move out, but I'm also not very good at living by myself. I'd moved out once before, as some of you know. I'd moved out before, and after 2 weeks, I got really ill and I had to move back in with my mum. I don't know why I laugh and I smile, it's just kind of funny. There came a point where I started to outgrow living and working from my spare room. So I knew that I needed to come up with a solution, but I just didn't know how. Both how would I afford to move out, because I still wasn't earning enough to do that, and also how was I going to live by myself without being paralysed with the loneliness. On one of my afternoon walks one day, I was wandering around the village and then an idea just hit me. It was actually a result of my psilocybin psychedelic experience, and this idea has ended up kind of being quite life-changing. So I rushed home that day. I sent the idea or the business pitch off to the relevant person, and then a few weeks later it was accepted. And the idea was, I tell you all of this because it's one of the ways that I make money, and kind of the different avenues that I have to explore in order to make YouTube my job. So my idea, I only sent it to one company, Vivo Barefoot, and I sent it to them because I like working with them, I like their values, and we share a similar mission. My idea was to work with them on an annual partnership, and by that it means that I'd have their logo in the back of all of my videos, and then I would also do a short 10-second mention in all of my videos as well. And I hadn't seen, or I still haven't seen, anyone that does something like this, so I'm not sure if it's a thing. And so the money that I get from this annual partnership from Vivo Barefoot, it allowed me to find a solution of moving my work outside of my mum's house. And so it gave me enough money to start renting an office. So I found this office about 3 minutes drive away from my house, and it was going to be amazing. Had the office decorated, I moved all of my stuff in. Life was going to be great. And then within 1 week, the builder's yard out the front, it was so noisy. Beep, beep.
Vehicle reversing.
Beep, beep.
Vehicle reversing.
It drove me mad. Went home and cried every day. So then I found another office. I moved into that within 2 weeks. Everything was going to be amazing. And then I came to the realisation that working in a public office just wouldn't work for my work because I need it to be quiet. And it also wouldn't work for me because with so much noise in a public office, I just couldn't concentrate. It was during the exercise that But by this time with the second office, I'd signed a 12-month agreement. So I knew that I would have to stick it out. But the good thing is that being here, it gets me so motivated and so fired up to get enough monthly income to rent my own house. It's big enough for me to live and work. So then a house opposite my mum came up for rent, and the minute that I walked in and looked at it, I knew that it was perfect for me. But I also had another 10 months to pay on the office. So was I going to move into the house or was I going to stay in the office? Weighing it up. It turns out that I moved into the house. And it turns out that I'm actually still also paying for the office. So now I'm renting an office that I don't use and I'm renting a house. Oh dear. So within 3 months, I moved my stuff 3 times, which took a lot of physical, mental and emotional energy. But the good news is I'm now living in this house, something that I've wanted for a really, really long time. My goal is to get my own house. It's something that I've dreamed of for so long. I really, really want my own house. My own house just keeps me going. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Vivo Barefoot for accepting my idea and supporting my mission of living a healthy and cheerful life. And the great thing now is that I don't get as lonely because I'm living in a village that I love and am familiar with. And also, my mum is just over the road. And that's a great opportunity to send out a massive thank you to Mama T for letting me live with her for 3.5 years, because I can be a nuisance. And also, she is just a huge supporter of my work and supports everything I do. And I know there's some of you that are keen to see my new house. It's pretty cool. It's full of health gadgets and gizmos. So it's actually going to be my next video that I make. I'm going to do a house tour video.
You're so clever.
By the way, this house is actually going up for sale next year. And I really don't want to move out. So if you've got any ideas on how to save £46,000 in 12 months, please let me know. I'll talk to you about sponsorship for a moment, because I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and he asked me if there's a lot of sponsorship opportunity at the minute. He heard that the landscape was pretty dry. I think I know I work very differently to a lot of other creators. I do a lot of outreach for my sponsorships, whereby I get in contact with companies that I know, like and trust, and ask them to sponsor my videos. Usually it works the other way. Usually companies contact creators and ask them to sponsor videos. And that's all right, but it doesn't really work for me. For example, if a supplement company contact me and say, we want to sponsor your videos, well, I've never used that supplement and I don't know if it's good. I haven't got experience using it. So generally what I like to do is buy a product or service, use it for a number of months. If I like it, then I reach out to the company, introduce myself. Usually the company says yes as well. And the reason I tell you that is because I like to work with companies on a long-term basis, rather than just flitting and changing and promoting different products all the time. I like to just stick with the ones that I know. So you might have noticed that I've started working with Lumin. I've continued working with Vivo Barefoot. I work with FlexiSpot, who supply office furniture, and also continue working with Skillshare because I continue to do their courses. I definitely could earn a lot more money doing sponsorships. If I accepted some of the stuff that came into my inbox, I would be a lot wealthier, but the value system of it all just doesn't really work for me. And also, I don't have a manager or an agent or anything like that. I think once a channel gets to a certain size, similar to mine, it's quite common for people to have a manager, but I just manage everything myself just because I find it quite easy. In fact, I find it really easy. I think it would be much more complicated to have someone else involved. This is really exciting. This is almost as exciting as me living in this house. I've learned a new way to make money. That's through the sales of digital products. And I'd always heard about digital products over the years, but I just couldn't be bothered to learn how to do it, and the idea just made me feel confused. But I've got a friend, he's called Stefan, and I met him when I did the Matt Diavella YouTube course a few years ago. And he mentioned to me that he sold digital products and that he made some money. And he said that I should give it a go. So one day I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to give this a try. I'm going to keep it really simple. And I tried it with my Andrew Huberman routine. I knew that there would be some people that would want to try the routine. So I just made a really basic template. And I think I'm selling it for about $3.99. Like, not loads. But given that video was a success and also a lot of people are interested in the routine, I've sold a lot of those digital templates, and I'll explain how much I've made from it later on in the video. I still can't believe that selling a digital product for a cheap price could make so much money. My mind is blown, and I don't think that I would be living in this house and be able to afford living here if it wasn't for digital products. I look back at the last 12 months and I realise that I haven't made what I'd originally planned to make. If you watch my 2-year update video, I talk about a therapy series, inner self series, all of that. But the reason that I never got around to making those videos was because I did my blood test. I thought when I booked that, I would have my blood test, it would just be one video, and then I would move on. But having that blood test changed the trajectory of not only my YouTube channel, but it also changed the trajectory of my life. I know that sounds pretty deep, but I never realised that getting the results and the action plan from that blood test would have such a huge impact. And so therefore I spent the last 12 months digging into food, weight training, supplements, and I've been documenting that journey, which is why I think I probably haven't made as many videos as I'd like and as many videos as you'd like, because I'm in the process of making a 12-month update video for that blood test, and it's taken a long time. Before I move on to my lessons and challenges, a quick note to say I can still do the splits, I can still juggle and do the Rubik's Cube. I can now fully touch type. I try to get 10,000 steps a day and morning light in my eyes, Andrew Huberman style, but I do not drink salt water first thing in the morning. I'm still weight training and eating a high protein meal plan, and I never did learn to unicycle.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't have done any of that if it hadn't have been for the videos, because the videos keep me accountable and give me purpose to do these things. So I'm incredibly happy and grateful to have my job, and very happy to previous LT that I made the decision that day to quit my job to do YouTube full time. So let's talk about the lessons I've learned and the challenges that I faced. Even to this day, I'm still amazed with how long videos take to make. I said it at 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. I'm saying it now. I'll probably still be saying it in 10 years' time. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges, because I've got so many ideas in my head and so many videos that I want to make. It gets frustrating for me to not be able to make them quick enough. And yes, I could be part of the grind culture and work all of the hours, pull all-nighters and just work myself into the ground. But then I'm not living by the values of living a healthy and cheerful life. I was explaining this to a friend the other day and he was surprised, but none of this comes natural to me. Making videos, I'm met with a resistance every time. For example, filming this video, all morning I felt a resistance to turn the camera on. It's only once I start talking that I feel okay. Starting a script, resistance. Putting an edit into a timeline, the resistance. It feels like a constant battle, but I know that the resistance will always be there and that it's an obstacle that I need to overcome every day. I also get incredibly nervous when turning the camera on. I thought that would pass. Turns out that it hasn't passed. I'm also naturally, by default, incredibly lazy and I'm very easily distracted. But making videos gives me a sense of purpose and it gives me a focus. So I'll be curious about something and I probably wouldn't do it if it wasn't for making a video. Another challenge that I faced, particularly in the last year, and I don't know why I've got it now, and I haven't had it in the past few years, is I have been burnt out a couple of times in the past year. And I think that's happened because it's been an accumulation of 3 years of hard work with not really any breaks or holidays. And I'll be really open and honest in this part of the video. So I'm a solo creator, out of choice. Well, not necessarily, I haven't got enough money to pay someone else. But I'm a solo creator and that comes with a lot of job titles. It takes a lot of energy to make a video. In my personal life, I'm also single. Not by choice, but also to a certain degree by choice. And I find being a solo creator and a single woman, I find that a real big challenge, especially now I'm living in my own house, something that I love, but now I've got more financial responsibility. I've also got a lot of time by myself because I'm not living with my mum. That feeling can be quite crushing sometimes. I actually, a few weeks ago, got to the point where I really struggled, and it's made me realise I need to come up with a solution, because feeling like that isn't healthy and it certainly isn't making me cheerful. So I think over the next year I need to find a solution to get rid of this solo creator, single woman vibe. Oh, I don't even know why I'm telling you that, but that's a challenge. Despite the challenge of being a solo creator, which at times can be so tough, I would much prefer to be doing that and moving forward, working towards my goals and aspirations, rather than just plodding along in life, wishing for things to be different. Because for all those years before quitting my job to do YouTube full time, I felt sad and frustrated wanting to do this. So even though now I can still feel sad and frustrated, it's a different kind, and at least I'm pursuing my goals and ambitions. And I'm not going to then be old lady LT regretting that I'd never given it a go. This all sounds a bit deep. Let's try and lighten it up a bit. Some questions came up from the community about how I balance my work life with my personal life. And I work from 9 a.m. till about 4:30 p.m. I don't tend to work at the weekends, and I start each day with my chill morning routine, and then I go to the gym. And after work, I end the day with an afternoon walk around the village and then some stretch and some chill time. But when I have got a big work project on, like the Desert Island video or the psilocybin video, I will just plug in and I will just work, 14 days straight, day after day, which isn't healthy, but it's the only way I know how to tackle a big project like that. I've continued doing online classes over the past 12 months just to keep me refreshed. It's not so much about learning how to edit videos, but I enjoy watching other creators and their processes, because sometimes I can get creative blocks and feel stuck, and then I'll watch another creator and they might give a slightly different workflow. Or the thing that I find most helpful for me is seeing other creators come up against their creative blocks or their technical issues or their struggles, and it makes me realise that all of the obstacles that I have, they have too. So then it just makes it feel more normal. And so for my online courses, I've continued to use Skillshare, which I've been using since 2022. So this video is sponsored by Skillshare, and even if it wasn't sponsored, I'd still mention it anyway, because it's the platform that I keep coming back to keep doing YouTube classes. Because I've been having these mini meltdowns and creative blocks, I recently did the learning path, which is called Grow Your YouTube Channel, and it's 10 hours of content by 6 established creators. And it's fascinating learning about 6 different processes and 6 different styles. But the one thing that shines through is that each of them follow their inner intuition and what feels right for them. And so if you're wanting to learn something new to keep the old noggin ticking over, then Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of classes ranging from photography to music, illustration to productivity. I've added a link to Skillshare in the description where you can get 1 month for free, and that link is valid for the first 500 people. One question from the community that really got me thinking is, if I was to start YouTube again, what would I do differently? It would be keep things simple and don't overcomplicate it. I think recently I've just overcomplicated things a little bit too much, and it's got me confused. And for those wanting tips about starting a YouTube channel, If you want to do it, you just need to get on with it. It can be a bit of a rocky road, but the only way you will ever learn is by doing it. Another good question I got from the community was, when did I know it was going to work out? And I knew straight away, as soon as I quit my job to do YouTube full time, I knew it was going to work out. And when I got my second paycheck from YouTube, then it confirmed that. And how often do you consider giving it up? Never. Even when I'm at my lowest, I never consider giving it up. I wouldn't have any other job. I feel like I've already talked about some of the challenges I faced already, but looking back at the previous year, I can't help but think I wish that I'd have made more videos. And there's times where my brain literally runs out of energy, which is kind of frustrating because all I want to do is make videos. And when I look at other creators and see how many videos they're making, I think, why can't I do that? But I'm me with my ideas and my energy and my life, and they're them. And it can be a bit of a challenge sometimes to not get sucked into the sensationalism and the money of YouTube. That is a spiral of just wanting more and more and more. But I think I'm quite good at stepping away from that, which is why I make videos about a daylight lamp and sauerkraut. My friend, who has turned into a bit of a mentor, he can see potential in me and that I can get a lot more views and a lot more money. And we laugh about my sauerkraut video because it is almost like a way of me sticking to my values and staying humble. Because pickled cabbage was never going to make me tens of thousands of pounds. But I wanted to make a video about pickled cabbage. But it's that fine balance of business and personal. It's hard to explain. I'm pleased I made the sauerkraut video. And now for the bit you've all been waiting for. It's how much money I've made in the last year. So I've got 4 ways that I make money from YouTube. I've got ad revenue, sponsorship, digital products, and affiliates. And ad revenue is I get a tiny amount of money for the ads placed at the start, in the middle, and at the end of YouTube videos. Sponsorships is when a brand pays me to be in their video. Digital products, I'll explain that. And affiliate links is, for example, if I provide a link to a product and someone buys that, then I get a small % of that sale. In ad revenue over the last 12 months, I've made 33,971. In sponsorships, 8,045. Digital products, are you ready for this? 18,133. Are you being serious? I didn't even know what digital products were 12 months ago. And affiliate links, this has been a good increase, 6,677. So in the last year, I've earned £66,826. And I'm happy with that. My highest amount of ad revenue was in December, and that was over £6,000. The YouTube earnings does tend to go up and down. And just bear in mind that I've got to pay tax on that 66,000, and I'm also paying for an office I don't use. I'm not great at stuff like this, but I've made a chart comparing my earnings from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 in each of the categories. What you can see here is that my ad revenue is increasing, which is great. And just remembering that in year 2, I was away for several months. So the Desert Island video took many weeks to plan, and then I went away and filmed that. And then I also went and did the TV show, which took several months of preparation. So that's why year 2, which is in green, is a much lower figure. And the 2 things that stand out here is that the affiliate links, you can see that there's been a big increase in year 3, almost 10 times as much as year 2. And I'd seen people talk about using affiliate links and getting income in the past, and I always wondered how I would get it to work for me. And it's not something that I push because that's not really a technique that I like. But when I talk about products in my videos and I add a link in the description, when people click it, I get a small %. And it's great to see that that's starting to work for me after 3 years of just putting links in the video description. And then one huge difference is digital templates in year 1 and year 2 didn't exist. I started doing them in year 3 and it's generated all this income. And it's only when I look at the chart like this that I realise there's been such a big increase, because again, it's very easy to get used to a sum of money coming in each month and acclimatise to that. So it's great to see that the channel is making improvements. So what's my future plans and what am I going to make videos about and what are my goals with this channel? So I've been doing this for 3 years and I think I'm at the stage where I really need to up my game, work smarter, not necessarily harder. There's some series of videos that I've wanted to make for years, which I mentioned in my 2-year update video, that I never got around to making. I've got my therapy series where I do things like acupuncture, active release technique, EMDR, that kind of thing. I've got my international therapy series, which is Thai massage, Indian head massage, Scandinavian saunas. I have started my inner self series with my desert island video, psilocybin. And then I'm also planning to go to Peru to try ayahuasca. I won't leave that video as long as I've left the other videos. And then continue doing experiments like knees over toes, that kind of stuff. And then there is a series that I've dreamt about for years, and it's really the ultimate goal. The reason that I'm making all of these videos is to give me the experience to do my ultimate goal, and I'm not really in a position to share what that is, but I would like to start exploring that this year. So let's see if I can do it before my 4-year update video. Now I have my own house, then it means I can make videos that I have thought about for ages with a bit more ease. So at this point, I want to ask you, what videos would you like me to make? Are there any topics that you want me to explore? Any ideas that are at the top of your list? Please let me know in the comments. An enormous thank you to everybody that has followed along and supported me on my YouTube journey so far. And I feel as though it's not just a YouTube journey, it's a personal journey as well, because you followed some of the struggles and the challenges that I faced, not only through doing this as a job, but also in my personal life. And I often get compliments about you guys. People will say of how lovely you are for writing such kind comments, and often the comments will be quite long as well, so spending the time to write it all and share your experience is not only appreciated by me but by many other people as well, so thank you so much. I'm proud of Laura from 3 years ago for making that decision, and I'm so pleased that I've got 3 years of experience under my belt, because the prospect of starting brand new at this stage is actually quite terrifying. But I will say, if you have got a dream to do it, then you absolutely must go for it. Everybody has got something of value to share in the world. And so I truly believe that everybody could have a successful YouTube channel, because we've all got our own interests and our own niche. I'll be doing my next update in April 2025, when I've been doing this for 4 years. And I have set myself 2 goals by that time. So let's see if I can do it, and I'll share what they are this time next year.